Good morning, party people. Welcome to my weekend review. Kind of an odd thing, this weekend review ended up being an entire week of us and our trip to New York City to help Uncle Steve. I initially thought, man, we're going to go to New York, help Uncle Steve for probably 2 days, and then head south into the Philly area, into the DC area, into the Virginia area, and then bounce back. Uncle Steve gave us a list, about 4 or 5 things to take care of. Man, when we got there, there was all kind of carnage going on. Ended up being there 5 solid days of work. Of course, it takes a whole day to get there, whole day to get back, and I had an appointment at the end of that week, so I didn't have time to head south. But anyway, there's a few good things in here. One was we got that red hood delivered that we picked up in Vegas almost 2 years ago, and got that delivered. We also did a steering rack. I changed my procedure on the steering rack a little bit because those steering rack, I guess, knuckles on top of them that go into the steering column, those joints, those things are almost impossible to get off unless you are under a lift and have an air hammer. So what I normally do now is I take that thing loose under the dash at the steering column and pull that out through the floor with it still attached to the rack, and then I take it off the rack on the bench. I'm starting to find that a lot of racks are missing parts, mainly because people are putting them on and they're not putting all the parts back on. What happened to me one time is I took a rack off, I boxed it up and shipped it back as a core, and then when I was putting the new rack on, I realized there was hardware and parts missing from the new rack that I needed to get off the old rack. So that's something that I guess is happening to more than me now. Of course, I stopped, went and got a hold to those parts before I proceeded, but other mechanics, they're proceeding and sending that car out without those parts, and that's not good. So I changed that procedure a little bit, worked with parking brakes more. I found more things, or would I say a better way to get those parking brakes seated properly in that drum so those things hold better. And then we did a couple of headliners. So, you know, every once in a while you run into things. We had a lot of hardware that wasn't proper on a couple of the cars, and just dealt with that stuff. Got it taken care of, got out of there. Didn't get everything we was supposed to get done. And also found a list of other things. I think I gave you guys a flash of that maybe a video or two ago. Anyway, hope you enjoy this week's video, and thanks for watching. Have a great day, and again, Happy New Year. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Continuing the Tinker Day here with John Wart. Man, he's got him an 850 parting out. Come get you some. We got Panther here sitting with somebody's hood on it. About to start raining or snowing or something out here. So we're getting ready to transport this hood to the rightful owner finally, after, man, I don't know, maybe 2 years of riding around with me. Panther's hood is in Albuquerque, and I'm gonna swap this hood out with Lemonade and take it where it belongs.
Welcome to West Virginia.
It wouldn't let me take a picture because it's talking. Kicking off the Tinker Day, need to test drive 3 V70 T5Ms, boy. Woo, woo. Lemonade counted some miles. We don't know how many, but I'll check my records. Time to get cracking on this red V70 T5M. I'm going to do it a bumper to bumper on it, see what it needs, do the headliner, and probably also do an adjustment on the rear brake shoes, out of adjustment a little bit, and see if it needs strut mounts and stuff like that. So I'm going to check, see what it needs first before I do any work. That way we can order parts for it and go from there. Start off with the strut mounts. First thing I noticed, the hood didn't want to open. I had to go pull the trigger twice. So we need that. Then I noticed the grill hanging out a little bit up here. Looks like somebody's bumped the hood, pushed it back a little bit. So I come in here, that clip and that clip is busted from holding the grill in. So we're going to need that. The air snorkel down to the air box is missing. I'm going to get one of those. Both of these spring seats are torn up. Sometimes that's an indication that the struts are bad. They tear up the spring seats when they go bad. So I'm going to pull the wheel real quick, check that, making sure we don't have any water moisture leakage down in here. Check the fluid level here. It's high, so that's good. Pull the dipstick, check the oil level on that. It's missing the cap that covers the starter connection, and it looks like I got a ground wire busted down there. I don't know if you guys see that or not, but that ground wire is sheared off, so take care of that before that starts giving them starting issues. Just look around a little bit. We got another ground strap broken there. See if this ground strap is okay. That one looks okay, although it is green. So let's go ahead and get it in the air, pull the wheel, check the struts. Look like this coolant reservoir is aftermarket and looking ugly. Parking brake was wiggling just a little bit, so I adjusted it till it was tight, brought it off one click. Now I was taking the tire off. I'm going to call tires 12 o'clock position with the valve stem up. At 9 o'clock, there's metal in the tire. I don't know if that could be pulled out without the tire losing air or not, but it's outside of this tread bar, and it may not be able to be repaired unless you patch it from the inside. So it's a good quality tire, and it's only a couple years old. It's a 2021. Next year it'll be 4 years old, but still has probably 10,000 miles left on it. I would repair that tire if possible, and then replace all four when it comes due. Now, the brake pads look like they're in great shape. The rotors look like they're good. They haven't been done long ago. This fuel tank bracket has lost all its coating, so it's going to start rusting. I can smell a little fuel, and it looks like fuel's been leaking over the tank. So when they fill the tank, it probably leaks a little. That needs to be taken care of. There's a grommet missing there. I don't know who would have took that out. Some rusting going along here, along the frame. That probably needs to be treated. So not a bad idea to come under here once a year, treat this stuff. This little plate that protects the back of the fuel tank is starting to rust out. And the Delta Link bushing is starting to rust. A piece is missing, it looks like off the front of it. So this should be replaced. So that's what's going on back here. You got a little rust starting around there. I'm not sure if this tank is rubbing against this frame of the car there, but all in all, it's not bad. It's got Sachs shocks on it. Those probably replaced not too long ago. Hard to see the bump stops up there. But the bump stop here for the spring is starting to rot out. I mean, it's hard to see the shock mount up there. Probably could. So I got this parking brake adjusted. It's missing a couple of rivets in the bumper here. So I'm gonna put those in, and then I'm gonna put this tire on and move over to the parking brake on the other side. Looks like the coating is off at the top of this fuel tank clamp too, so I probably replace those within a year, or take them off, clean them up, recoat them, put them back on, see how long they last. They're probably cheaper to replace than they are to clean up, time-wise. I was thinking maybe oil would filled up under this spark plug cover and was going out that way, since there's so much oil under there, but it's not. So let me clean this up. The cap seal looks fine. This is hard. I guess I need to check the PCV, see if this thing is bad. May need service. Front brake pads look good. The rotor looks good. Look like there's something scoring it. Sometimes you get a rock or something in there and it puts a scratch on there. No big deal. The pin holding the rotor on is broken off. Maybe it was tightened too tight. Who knows? I'm taking this strut off to take it apart. I checked this mount here. It appears to be good distance-wise, but I could see the rubber tearing off of it on the back side of it. So you're looking at a mount that may last a couple more months. See, the rubber is tearing off of it right here and on the back side of that. Now I found a big gob of grease under there. I moved it to over there. So there's probably a pinhole in this boot somewhere, slinging all of the grease out of that CV boot. This side of the engine is dry. Somebody put a, I guess, Toyota or Honda or some baby oil filter on there. I would recommend getting that off. And there's some wetness over there near that axle that goes all the way up. Maybe the plate on the back of that engine is leaking. I've seen that happen before. It doesn't seem to be coming off the top of the engine. I'm gonna check the cam seals. Something didn't seem right about this. Had a hard time getting this nut off of here, which is rare. Pull that off. It's missing the T-nut. It's got this washer on here and some other nut that's on finger tight. So that needs to be corrected. I adjusted the parking brake on the passenger side and that went well. Could not get the driver's side to adjust and hold. So I pulled everything off and I kind of measured this gap here, because this is what expands right here when you pull the cable. I put a leaf little thing there, and then I went and pulled the cable to see if that would drop, and it did. With the rotor off, I was able to get it. But you see here, the thickness of the shoe up there, let's say that's a 1/4 inch. Down here, it's like a 1/16 of an inch. Then when I released it, it would not compress by itself. I had to actually tap on it to get it to release itself again. So this cable is binding in the system somewhere. I don't know if it's back here or up there, but at any rate, this cable's binding, so I think it needs to be replaced. And then, of course, these shoes being worn almost down to the metal there, they need to be replaced. I don't know if just replacing the shoes would do it, but if it were me, I'd do the cable and the shoe, because you don't want the cable sticking, dragging the shoe, wearing the shoe down, which is obviously what happened here. Then I noticed this bumper was not riveted to this wheel skirt, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This Delta link is mushrooming up here, so it's gonna need to be replaced sometime soon. And man, those are bare. So that's what I got on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a plug out of here just to see what they look like, and then we should be done with our checkup. Ordering parts, and notice that these bolts are also improper. About to get back at it right after management gets done supervising. Had to try to get this bolt out because this thing is stuck. I'm put some fire to it. Fire it up! I got it. I tried to get an impact on this side, wrong size bolt head, but I put the right one on there, it started stripping, it was so tight. Then I tried to put the right one on that side, couldn't, because the stem of the bolt was too long. So I put some heat on it, tried to break it loose, couldn't. So what I decided to do was get my Sawzall and cut about a ½ inch off of there. Then I beat the ½ inch on there, put a nice size breaker bar on there, and finally got it to move. And the socket was still stuck on there. So I got my big impact put on that side, hammered the socket on this side, held it, and got it to spin off. So finally got that loose. Yes. Took about 10 minutes, I think. Got the struts ready for the new spring seats and the cross nuts, put that back together. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this tie rod in apart so I can be ready to put that boot on there. I'm gonna count the turns, make a note on the pad to see how many turns I came out so I don't mess that alignment up, even though it doesn't need to be aligned anyway. So I'm ready to get that ready to put that boot on there. We are knocking it off for tonight, folks. We still need parts. Well, folks, made this morning's video, and I think I lost 3 hours today of work, so I'm gonna get at it, hit it hard, because I got a lot to do before I leave here Monday morning. Today and tomorrow, finish this car, start on another car, so let's get with it. I'm gonna start out by doing this e-brake cable, put that stuff back together, and be ready for those shoes. I'm ready for the struts, then I'm gonna rip this headliner out, and me and Meet will probably do this headliner material and keep it rocking and rolling. So this cable was having a hard time moving, but I think most of that was because of the grit that had accumulated in this little dog leg thing. So I'm gonna clean that up and put this stuff back together. Got the cable hooked up back down there. I got this installed. Getting ready to put in this center console thing. Not sure how this got broke, but anyway, got that out of there. Let's go ahead and slide in the center console piece that doesn't have the busted up wood trim on it. And kind of go from there. Got the cable routed back up there properly. So let me put this piece in. Headliner is out. About to pull these pins out, remove the material and what's left of this foamy stuff. Sunroof trim didn't fare as well. Meech is gonna try to glue it together, the pieces, so when we put it back, it won't be so bad. But I don't think the super glue is any good, honey. I think you're going to have to cut the bottom of it. All right, let me get this material off of here. Back from lunch in a cat nap or power nap, whatever you want to call it, 5-10 minutes. Feel energized after lunch. Do this headliner material. We got the headliner in, except for this trim. Let me go ahead and pop that in, try to let those pieces meet where they won't look bad, and get on this parking brake situation. I got a cable in. Whoop, whoop. Parking brake working. I think that was a Phoebe Bilstein cable that went bad. It was binding up or something was causing binding. Maybe the cable wasn't set all the way in there. Let dirt get in there and rust build up. I don't know, but it's set right now. And I got this strap on here. I don't know if that'll matter. It should be bracketed here. Hopefully that won't bother it. But let me go ahead and cut that. Put the tire on and let this side down. Check the other side. Well, folks, it's like 8 o'clock. I got the car on the ground. The wheels all torqued down. Check the spark plugs, retorque them. And we're about to have dinner. Probably not going to come back out here tonight. So I'll see this thing early in the morning. Bright and early, kicking off the morning. It's still dark outside, but man, I got a lot of stuff to do. But I'm not going to do a lot on this car. I'm going to tie this up, which is put the center console in and get this car out of here. I could replace a blower fan. Not going to do it. I'm going to do the important stuff on the other two cars first. I'm going to put these screws in here, finish fixing this ground wire, which entails just taping it up. I don't know if I have what I need to fix the lower ground off the transmission, but it's running with what it got, so I'm going to push it out of here and get that steering rack job in here so I can make sure I get that done today. So let's get cracking. Things you should check daily on your car until you know it's level. Tire pressure, oil level. Check it every day until you see it's stabilized or learn of its pattern. If you got a tire that's losing 1 psi a day, you know every 5 days you got to air it up. Just stay on top of it. Takes a couple seconds to do. So there's a lug nut missing from here. I got to figure out if, oh, it looks like it's broken off in there. I'm going to check the brakes. Parking brakes kind of work in one direction, not the other. Make sure that's adjusted right. And check brakes and stuff in there. This parking brake adjusted pretty easy. It was just out of adjustment. Let's go check the other side. It was not holding with the handle pulled up. Yeah, these bump stops are eating away on this car. But the shocks are pretty new looking. This little plate on the back of the fuel tank is rotted away. And this trailing arm bushing back here is totally busted. It looked like somebody jammed a piece of rubber hose up there for what, I don't know. But that needs to be replaced. Somebody did rear brakes and calipers on this thing. Calipers probably should have been painted. So these parking brakes were out of adjustment. And to me, if you can adjust the adjuster 2 notches, it has these little points on there. Move that thing 2 points and it not be locking up the hub or rotor, it's too loose. This one I had to move 10 times. The one on the other side I had to move 12. So it's locked up right now. So you go on the inside of the car and you massage the, I call it massage, the parking brake handle 10 times. Go over there, honey. And then you pull it up. Make sure it locks the hub. And you let it sit for a minute or two. Then you loosen it and go see how many adjustments you can go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That helps center the brake shoes in the hub so that they're not off center. When they're off center, they may lock up and bind on you. So now you release it and you go back here and you look in that hole where your adjuster is, that hole in there, and you adjust that thing 2 notches. See if we can get some light in there so you can see that thing. Where's that adjuster at? There it is. You can see it in there. Move that thing 2 points and it should lock this up. So right now, I can move it both directions. It's trying to lock in the front direction, but it's not. That means the shoes are off center. So I put this up here. I put my screwdriver in there and I move that thing 2 notches up and it should lock my, make sure I got my adjuster where I can see it. You put this thing on my head. So I'm gonna move this thing 2 notches up and it should lock 1, 2. I can still move a little bit, and it doesn't feel like it's centered. So I'm gonna move it down 1 notch, and I'm gonna go inside and massage the handle again like I showed you. So it'll quit trying to bind in one direction. That way you get it to do good in both directions. A lot of these things, they work good, not letting you roll forward, but they'll let the car roll back. You don't want that. I massaged it 10 times and I left it pulled. Now this doesn't move at all, which is good. So I'm gonna release it. It's about 3 adjustments out right now. Now you see it moves both directions freely. Now I'm gonna adjust it till it quits moving. 1, 2, 3. Man, it let me move it 4 times and it's still a little loose, so I'm gonna do it 5. Still moving. Could have a problem with my brake shoes in here. 6, 7. Now it's locked. But it should have been locked with just a couple. 1, 2. That should let it move, but it's trying not to move one direction and not the other. So I'm gonna massage this a couple more times, and if it doesn't act right, I'm gonna pull this caliper, pull the hub, and check the shoes, see if the shoes are worn out. It's locked right now, not going either direction, which is fine, but I want it to release clearly as well. I just released it, and it should not be binding either direction. It's rubbing, so I'm gonna release it 1 or 2 more notches. 1, 2. It should be totally loose now, which it feels like it is, but it sounds like something's loose in there. I don't like that. So let's go pull a handle, see if it makes it lock up good. I got that handle pulled up pretty tight. And it's locked up good. So what happens occasionally is one will be out of adjustment, the other one will be adjusted, and this one's trying to hold the whole car, and that one's not holding anything. You jump in the car, you forget it's set, you drive a few feet, then you remember because you see the light in the dash, and you release it. Well, you keep doing that 5, 10, 20 times, you're wearing down these shoes, and those shoes are not being worn down. So right now, it's working, so I can leave it like it is, because it probably hold fine, but I don't want it touching when it's released, because I want it to be totally released. I can hear something going on in there. I shouldn't hear that. So I'm gonna pull this caliper, see what's going on in there, because I don't want this going bad in a month or 2. You know what? I got a lot bigger fish to fry, and I don't want to spend a half hour on that with these other fish and the party kicking off in an hour. So I'm gonna move on. It's working. Probably got worn shoes. I'll put that on the list to check later. Got some bolts that are improper size on the caliper. They're rusted, so I'm not gonna dive into that and have some disaster happen. Let me get on the important stuff. This is working. After doing a few steering racks, my process has changed a little bit. It's gotten a little bit easier, so I'm gonna remix this video. We're gonna start off by putting on the engine support bar, jacking up the car, putting it on jack stands, removing the front wheels. Got the engine supported with the engine support bar, 1 ring there. The other ring over there. Just took a little bit of weight off of it. Got the jack stands under the car off the ground. I'm only about 3 inches off the ground. I wish I was a little bit higher, but I got a jack stand there in the pinch well area where I could get the subframe loose on both sides. Next, I'm gonna take the wheels off. Next, I'm gonna take the sway bar end link loose, the outer tie rod ends loose, and the ball joints loose. I'm gonna drop the subframe with the control arms and the sway bar. Vacuumed all of the debris so that the drains don't get clogged and leak in the car. Came down here, got this ball joint loose. Notice the brake line is twisted around. I may straighten that out. Got the ball joint bolt loose there. Got the ball loop bolt loose out of the control arm. Got the 2 bolts removed from the steering rack ends. This thing is still leaking. I got a pad for oil eater under there. I went to go remove the bolt right there. Notice it's missing and the bracket's missing. Now there's a bracket that's supposed to be there supporting this part of the steering rack because the engine mount is mounted to the steering rack, and that bracket supports that, stops the engine from causing this steering rack to fluctuate, possibly breaking the steering rack, and this may be why it's damaged because this bracket's missing. So check under your car, see if that bracket's missing. If so, get one. I think I brought the one with the replacement rack so that the engine mount's not supporting weight on this steering rack without being braced up. So anyway, you can remove that 18 if you want. You don't have to. Heck, I don't see that there either. It's got another bracket missing that's supposed to support the steering rack as well. So 2 things missing from that. And now we're ready to go inside and release the steering knuckle gear from inside. Come down here to disconnect the steering column. Floor is wet under the floor mat, which means the heater core is probably leaking. Then I noticed that this rod is broken from the cruise control actuator pump bellow. So that needs to be fixed. Let me verify that this heater core is leaking. Maybe we get one before the end of the day. This heater core looked like it's leaking at the seals, not the core itself. That's strange. And somebody took that box loose and didn't secure it properly. I don't know if we can get those seals without the whole heater core, but I'll ask the owner what he wants to do. Take the bolt loose from the subframe right here where the wire harness is attached to it. I pulled 3 bolts, left that bolt in, put a jack stand under it for it to catch it. And of course I took the steering rack loose from the inside, and it's missing those 2 brackets like I said. The steering rack is being held up by the engine mount, and the engine mount is still attached to the subframe here in case you need to totally remove the subframe. I would recommend unplugging this, taking that bolt out, and since that bracket is missing from the steering rack, you don't have to do anything back there. I ended up taking the bolt out of that rear engine mount, letting the rack drop down, and then getting the lines loose, the 16 and the 19. Then I was able to pull the rack out. As you can see, the subframe's down pretty far with that 1 bolt up front holding. So we're out. I'm gonna get the joint off of it and put it on the replacement rack. I got the rack over here leaking like a sieve through the boot. It's just pouring out of the end of the rack. I guess it was bottled up in that boot. So let me get that up. I gotta get this piece off of here and put it on the replacement rack. Normally I'd have a bracket here to put over there, but I think I have that on the replacement rack already. Clocking out to go have some lunch. Take me to see the big city. That big city, woo woo! We are back to counting no miles, folks. It's not like the cold weather. That's how we get home, Scarborough. In the elevator.
You can be so cold standing here when the wind is howling across the river.
Time to get the tickets. Grand Central. Both ways?
Senior both ways, too.
Debit card.
Debit card. $30. I don't know where you put it.
Just tap it right there.
Okay. Enter pin. Hit it. There you go.
Approved. Man, that thing still works. Woohoo! On the elevator at the Scarborough train station, we have our tickets in hand. $15 round trip each, senior discount. And we're gonna wait for the train to come. Downtown bound, track 4. Nice and salted. Oh my gosh. The wind coming off of that river is brutal. And there's the Governor Como Bridge. Woo, Marion Como. All the way down there. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. There it is. We're gonna go take a seat. Train should be here within 10 minutes. Should have brought some snacks because I'm already hungry. Hungry already. We got any snacks in the car? We got snacks in the car, baby? And here it comes, folks. The train. Off the train, up the stairs. Grand Central Station. Here it is, folks. Going to 42nd Street. First thing up, pretzel hot dog stand. Grand Central Plaza. Headed toward Bryant Park. They got the moon up there. Woo woo. Bryant Park. Shopping and eating. Woo woo. First stop, burger place. New York City burgers. Let's go, folks. On and on. Big City River. Radio City Hall. We are approaching the tree. There it is.
Turn right onto Rockefeller Plaza.
Big freaking Christmas. C'est bien. And there's the studio for the Today Show. And we are Rockefeller Center Plaza. Look at that tree. There's only one thing right now that looks better than that tree. Woo, woo. Hey, honey. Hey. I love New York. We are back at Bryant Park, where they have the ultimate booth shopping experience.
Oh my god, yes.
Lots of
But I
stuff
feel like
here.
I'm kind of like scared because like what if I don't like it? And it's like
Mita is in patches and pins. Lots of neat stuff in there.
Yeah, we'll come back at the end of after school.
Enjoying the evening. Da, 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 da. I love New York. Yeah. We are wrapping up the tour for the day. Beautiful marble in this place. Good Lord, this place is beautiful. And it's got restrooms down there. So we're going to hit that before we hit the train. Coming to a club. People standing up. And we are calling it a night. Headed out. Manhattan. Tour starts off. Isn't that right here? That's it, folks. That is it for tonight. Headed to the car. There we go. That's much better. Headed to the car. Here you are, folks. Back at it. I've got to get this car done. These people want to drive this car. This is why I came out here to New York. 3 a.m. Clocking in. Let's get started. So, kick off the day. Get this out of here. I might have to cut that off, put a socket on that thing and get that out of there. Then I'm going to take these boots off. They're torn. Those boots protect the shaft going in and out of there. And put the new boots on and start getting this thing in place. Had to take my oscillating saw and cut the pipe off of this thing because this was turning and it would keep stopping and stripping. So now I could put a 19 over it and take it off. That's gonna be the only way this thing's gonna come out of here. I don't wanna put too much heat on it and damage anything inside there. So let me keep moving. It was stiff, but it came out. I think there's some kind of corrosion there on the threads. Man, those last couple of threads look bad. And the pipe is stuck in there. It was in there so tight. So I think it might have just been a classic case of over tightening. Let me get some pliers and get that out of there. As suspected, there is some metal down in there. I need to Q-tip that out or vacuum it out. Whatever I need to do to get that out of there, and hope like heck none of it went down in there that will cause a problem. I probably should have taken some, I don't know if that would have been possible, turned it upside down is what I should have done before I cut it. So let me hit that with a vacuum cleaner and hope I get all the debris out of that thing that would matter. Good news, I was able to flush some fluid out of that hole. Didn't see any medical particles, but enough of it flushed out. I think we're good to go. This here is the hex to adjust the stiffness of your steering. I have a number 10 here. Number 10 wiggles, so I would say it's probably a number 11. I doubt it's a number 12, so if you want to try to adjust that, get you an 11 millimeter hex. I tried a couple of torques in here. 55 is too small, 60 is too big, so probably a 57 if there's such a thing. Got these boots on. This clamp is fine. However, the clamp that goes here is too small. I used the old ones. They fit fine. Actually a little loose, but whatever size these are in the Limforder packages, they are too small to go on there to hold that boot. Just a note, I'm gonna go ahead and put a remark on FCP's website. Maybe they'll contact Limforder and tell them to fix that. All right, we got this thing booted up, ready to go back in. And the good thing is, when I took the old boots off, there was no evidence of leaking inside the shaft area. So we should be good to go for quite some time. Let's go ahead and put this thing back on and get it raised up inside there. See, that's where I got fluid coming out. I turned it this way and got some fluid out of there. No signs of metal in it. I am having a little bit of a problem. Man, I don't know if this line is tightening anymore, and it's got some wiggle in it. know if you can see that wiggle in that line. And it's leaking while it's sitting here. So I know it's not tight enough to stop a leak. But it seems like it's dripping as I'm trying to tighten it. So that's a problem. Serious problem. I don't know if I can fix that, but I'm gonna try to tighten it a little more. I can see the little green seal material. I don't know if that's in the threads or not, but let's try to turn it another quarter of a turn, see if this tightens up. I really couldn't tell that that lower line was going in or not, but I could see a little light threads on it. So I stabbed it a few more times. Just these little notches moves and it tightened up. So this pipe is not really moving anymore. I can make it barely wiggle. I put this one in. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a battery in this thing and see if this thing leaks. I have to put some pressure on it, see if it leaks. I don't want to get it all the way installed and find out it's leaking and have to pull it down and take another half stab at it. So let me go ahead and put some fluid in it, turn it a few times, make sure it's clear, the tie rod ends are clear, and it turns a few times. So heck, I can't even do that with that up there, but I can put some fluid in and start it up, see if it drips. I'm gonna clean it off first with some brake parts cleaner. I said all that to say this: if this line wiggles and you see fluid dripping out, you're not tight enough. Here we go. I got the reservoir full. I sprayed this down with brake parts cleaner. It's pretty dry. Nothing's dripping under it. Brake parts cleaner still dripping. Nothing red dripping under it. Let me go ahead and turn this thing a few times, drop a battery in this car, start it, and see if we have any leakage. Okay, after running it a few minutes and turning the steering wheel just a little bit that I could by reaching up there, it is dry. So I'm going to go ahead and put this subframe up, focus on what's going on in the back. Probably the first time I ever seen this, but this subframe bushing is actually torn out. So it needs to be replaced. Look up there, you see the ring? Back from the breakfast break, and I have my supervisor with me. Now this is pretty creative for a Delta Link bushing fix. Wonder if there's a service bulletin for that. Back from lunch, about to pull this car out, check it out, and go from there. Back at it, we are going to do a headliner in here, and that's going to be it for today. Got the material out finally. Trim piece didn't get busted up too bad. Got the foam off the headliner. Man, that took about 20 minutes. Hopefully it's clean enough that we can get it to stick. Well, got the material on, but let me tell you something. When you're tired, this thin foam material we get from Hobby Lobby is very unforgiving. Got a couple of spots where it tacked and we tried to stretch it and it just wouldn't. So, gotta be more careful with the material that doesn't have thick foam. Very thin foam on there. Lessons learned. We are done loading up lemonade. Got the other car parked up there. We're about to head back to the room. And the mileage counter is counting again. I have no idea what's going on here. That hood is smoking. And we are here.
Sir, you're all set right there.
All set right here?
Yep.
We got plasticware to eat with and stuff? Oh, And it's the cornbread?
Yes.
Nice. Thank you. City Barbecue at the location where it all began, North Columbus, Ohio. Zoom in on that menu. 3 sides, 3 upcharges we have. Here it is, folks. $35-ish. And a tea. Let's get the drink with it. Woo woo. Gotta say our grace. It's gotta be good. We get 1 plate? All right. Get you. What do you got? Brisket, ribs, Texas toast, and cornbread, and collard greens.
You're not. You're
Christmas music. Huh?
You're not with your TV, right? And roll my fingers in the food.
Why? You want some chicken?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Some chicken. I'm not trying. I want to try.
Yeah, killed the chicken again.
And one the bread. Is mine. The bread is mine.
Sure. I don't need bread.
And that's mine. Didn't give butter.
Who?
Didn't give any butter. Just bread.
You want butter? It's all greased up with something already.
It don't matter. But I'm not using it.
Okay.
I need drink. Oh, let's drink.
Lord, thank you for this food we're about to receive. We ask you bless it for the nourishment of our body. In Jesus' name. Amen. Should have called my buddy Freeman, find out if this place was any good before I stopped. But they act like it is. They're all proud of it. With their upcharges.
It's no good.
It's no good.
Yes.
What's this, vinegar?
No, it's I don't know.
This one's good, this one's not.
The spicy, kind of spicy. Yeah, it's better.
Brisket's on the dry side.
Spicy.
Pretty tasty. Both of them are spicy?
Is it spicy?
Sweet?
Yeah. Supposed to be.
I'm gonna take a bite without the sauce, then a bite with the sauce. Kind of got a snap to it. Almost crunchy. It's good. Good flavor, smoked flavor. I'm gonna hit some with some sauce. Very sweet sauce. I like it better with just a little bit of the sauce.
I have better. Nothing has big cornbread conventionally in Texas.
Not HEB's cornbread, she said. That smells familiar. Not cat food, is it? Can't place that smell. Smelt it before. Not under the car, but
Corn.
corn. Okay, it's cornbread. Cornbread's good. I give it a 4. The texture of the meat, all of it on the bones, edible.
Biscuit is good.
Texture's a 5.
Biscuit is good. Give it an 8. Flavor, I'd give it a 4. Brisket's good. Texture, flavor, I'd give it a 4.
Alright.
I only rate the 5, 1 out of 5. You can get a Dallas Cowboy 1-star rating, or you can get a 5-star rating like the hotel.
Oh.
Counting to 10 is too high.
I thought it was a 1 to 10.
No, I ain't got that many numbers. I can only count to 5 in Spanish. The greens is a 3. I would not leave home to come get these greens. Now it's time to hit the chicken. Leg thigh, my favorite. Let me take a bite out of this like a real man. Just done. Just done. I don't know. I don't think it's bleeding, but it's a little red. That chicken is very good. I can see myself leaving home for this chicken. I'd get a chicken. Color's a little scary, but there's no blood. You can almost eat the bones of this chicken. Let me finish eating. I'll catch you guys at the end. The tea's perfect. Perfect. Well, folks, we're done eating dinner. I'm taking the chicken with me. Ain't leaving that. That's a 5. Brisket, man, that's a strong 4. Almost made 5. Ribs are a strong 4. Cornbreads, kind of acquired taste. Maybe it's good enough to be a 4. And the collard greens is a 3. Kind of running the mill average. So tea is a 5. Perfect. So that's all. City barbecue. Woo woo. If you made it this far, I trust that you found some information that was either useful or entertaining, so go ahead and hit the like button. And if you would like notification of future videos that I post, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. You can follow me on other social media apps by looking for @RobertDIY. Some form of that should bring up the other channels that I have on places like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. If for some reason you need some more personal help, go to my website at robertdiy.com and use the phone number that I have posted there to send me a text message, or you can email me. If you have questions or comments, please make a comment below. And if you'd like to make some kind of financial contribution to what I got going on here, go to my channel and hit the more link at the end of the introduction statement, and it'll show you different ways that you can support me financially. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.